we have two very interesting sustain eidolons coming up next.
Oh my god, good characters! Wow!
Yeah.
I missed them! Alright. Next up is Huohuo. Oh my god.
I think the E2, we can kind of be like,
oh my god, it's
passive,
just
blah, blah,
another
blah.
it's just another res. Okay, moving on.
Okay, the E2 also, this is really helpful specifically for Huohuo, because I don't know if you have Huohuo, but her sustain can be a little bit sussy nowadays.
Oh yeah.
She can be a little bit sketchy in the new endgame content because of how hard enemies are hitting nowadays.
So E1 anchored to vessel, specters nestled. The duration of divine provision produced by the talent is extended by 1 turn. When Huohuo possesses divine provision, all ally speed increases by 12. Yeah, that's goated.
This is gonna be my guess is going to be 2 sustains that make it to A tier, and then 1 sustain that makes it higher, and I think Huohuo is one of the A tier sustains.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For the sustain eidolons, yeah.
Question is, where is she though?
I think she's below Cypher still.
Okay, good. Because I'm like that.
Because it doesn't give a crazy damage increase. It's just speed is so game breaking in a turn-based game.
Yeah, the speed is super helpful, and then the E2 is definitely a bit weaker overall, but the E1 is so nice.
Now for the next character, we were talking about speed.
This is bullshit. This is gonna be.
Someone mentioned speed. Someone mentioned speed.
God, it's this fucking crack addict, Hyacinth and Lil Ika, man. Okay. Anyway,
if you just read the E2, it's literally just
E2. When any ally target loses HP or HP decreases, get 30% more speed.
By the way, this isn't for Hyacinth. This is for that ally. So it's effectively and since if you have her S1, and I'm assuming if you have her E2, you have her S1. Her S1 drains your team's HP, and since she's going to be the fastest unit on your team always, it's effectively a 100% uptime, global 30% speed increase for your entire team. And because she scales off of speed, because her speed increases her alkaline healing.
Yeah, by the way.
Healing is what her damage is based off of. Hold on, it's effectively also a damage eidolon for her.
There it is in case anybody wants to read that real quick.
Not to mention E1 is amazing too.
Dumb.
Or E1.
Oh, E1's good too. Okay, let me read E1.
E1's amazing.
So when Hyacinth is in the after rain state, additionally increases the max HP of all ally targets by 50%, and immediately restores HP equal to 8% of Hyacinth's max HP after using an attack.
That's a team-wide heal, by the way, and it happens after any ally does any attack at all, like follow-up attacks too.
And the after rain state is caused by her ultimate, for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah. The E1 is amazing.
It's additionally 2 is the crazy part. Additionally increases.
It means she increases the entire team's max HP by 80% with her ult up. Which is okay buddy, is that necessary? That was not necessary. I think this is either high S or I don't know if I want to say support tier. I don't know if I want to say support tier, though.
Is it they're both okay. Those are
we
both
talking about Castra's team
powerful.
specifically? I think both of her eidolons are amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. No, I don't think the context even matters. I don't even think the context matters. I think it's genuinely a better combination overall.
Oh my gosh, this is.
She boosts her own damage in her ideal team setup. You're giving 80% more HP, and with the ideal build, which is just having the light cone at E2. 30% more speed by just doing your job.
Yeah, and we don't even need the light cone if you're on a cast team, because it's a 2-turn long speed boost. Oh my gosh.
No, that's actually disgusting.
How did we get here?
That's disgusting.
How did we get here? Yeah.
I hate that. All right. Oh god. Moving on. Next.
How to be disappointed in a limited character.
Jade. So y'all like crit rate increases? Alright, so just to read the other one. E1, the follow-up attack damage from Jade's talent increases by 32%. After the character with Debt Collector state uses an attack and hits 2 or 1 enemy targets, Jade additionally gains 1 to 2 points of charge.
I think the definition of a B tier.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's still good, and it improves one of her main things pretty substantially. The problem is the other one is fucking mid.
Yeah.
The other one is just objectively mid.
The flexibility that it gives her is pretty noticeable, because I've seen people, like, I remember back on the Nikador boss, there was one guy who zero-cycled Nikador
Yeah.
with using Fei Xiao as an E1 Jade driver, which is like, how did we get here? What?
Okay, that's kind of cooked. It is genuinely amazing how many more possibilities eidolons open up for more creative team building, and it's sad that they have to be locked behind eidolons. Because the creativity people really want in this game is actually there. But it's just locked, and that sucks. Anyway, yeah, no, it's in the same camp where, like, one of them kind of sucks, but then the other one's pretty good. So.
Yeah.
Thinking, like
above Black Swans.
I want to say above, right?
Yeah, because at least she's usable.
I was gonna say, I like above.
Okay, now we get Zhao Cho.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Alright, so.
E1's okay.
The E2 is the one that really unlocks his damage potential, but E1 is still good.
It makes it so that he actually can do some pretty decent damage.
I don't know. I feel like more people are going to be interested in the E2, so I'm like, E2, from Savor comes Suffer.
I don't know.
Alright, so when an enemy target is inflicted with Ash and Roast, which they always will be, increases the multiplier for the fire DOT dealt by Ash and Roast to the target by 300%. He becomes a real character instead of a debuff bot.
I feel like we kind of underrated Anaxa and Aventurine at this point.
At this point, I agree. So now we have more characters in A. How do we feel now?
I think we can move Aventurine and Anaxa up. I don't know do you want to make another tier below S for Dill and Acheron to go to?
Yeah, probably, actually. I wanted to try and avoid it, but the thing is, though, as we're getting more characters in S, it's getting a bit messier. Alright, so moving on, next up,
King Yuan.
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna be disappointed again.
The worst eidolons ever. I don't think we need to,
I need to read one of them. I don't really care about either of them. I need to read one of them.
Just pull Sunday, please.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to really improve your Jingyuan, don't get Eidolons. Just go get Sunday. Go get Sunday Go get Sunday S1. Maybe get an E1 for him instead. You'll probably enjoy yourself a lot more. Alright.
E1 Sunday is a bigger increase than
any of these.
E6. It's a bigger increase than fucking E6 Jingyuan, so like, yeah.
Alright, E2, after Lightning Lord takes action, damage caused by Jingyuan's basic attack skill and ultimate increases by 20% for 2 turns. Wow.
It's so bad. Like, oh my gosh. The E1 is like also, what the fuck?
It's a damage increase at least.
Yeah.
It's not nothing. It just... Oh.
Let's go in C tier. Our general.
Here you go,
buddy.
Go
with the rest of the Xian Zhao units.
Oh, that's actually tragic.
He's with his family now.
This one tries to kill him. Fun family reunions. Alright, next!
Yeah.
Jingliu.
We add one more to the family or not.
We might be.
I think we're adding one more to the family chat.
God damn it. Okay, I will say, with Jingliu more than likely becoming an HP unit, this one is probably going to change a little bit. I imagine that the boost will be nicer.
The E1 will be better in the future.
The E1 will be better. And then E2
it's very E1 blade coded though. Like,
yeah,
it's
a little
really bit. E1 blade coded.
A little bit.
Because it is another eidolon where it's, if only one enemy is attacked, it increases the damage multiplier. So,
wait a minute!
Yeah, it's literally just E1 blade.
I didn't realize they put that condition on it. Oh, that sucks. Okay. So E2, after using ultimate, increases the damage of the next enhanced skill by 80%. Wow, a nice little damage boost with the other eidolon being annoying. You know what that means!
They're all with their family now.
Actually, I'm gonna move Fu Xuan just so the boys can be together. I don't think anybody's concerned about the ordering of this anymore.
Not Dill being 3 tiers higher than them.
The worst part is Jingliu came out after him. What happened here? What happened? Yeah. I hate it here, man. I hate it here. Okay.
Now we get actually
Kafka.
not bad. These are not bad. They're not unusable.
So here we go. So E1, when the talent triggers a follow-up attack, there's a 100% base chance to increase the DOT received by the target for 30% for 2 turns. Pretty good. E2, while Kafka is on the field, DOT dealt by all allies increases by 25%. Together, that's a pretty nice boost to DOT.
Okay. I think it's C.
I was about to say, do you mean B tier?
Oh yeah.
I was about to say, surely that's not C. I was okay. Thank God. You said Black Swan, and I'm like, okay. I thought we were about to have to fight on this.
I keep on thinking everyone in C tier is actually D tier because
it's so bad. No. We have the graveyard tier now. Next up is Ling Sha. So I think I can do.
Okay, yeah. The E1's really good. The E2's
E1's
something.
I was about to say E1's actually pretty nice. So hey, do you guys like break efficiency? Also, do you like reduced defense?
Yeah, it turns into its DPS. It turns into a support. It turns her into a sub DPS. Like, it gives her everything.
I was say E1 is a nice boost for Ling Sha herself, and then E2 just gives a boost to more of your allies. Which, with break teams, everybody is a DPS because of super break. So,
yeah,
this is a nice combination.
It's nowhere near as good as the E1. I think it's.
Oh yeah, but
it's above. Okay. I want to say it's really good. I don't know if it deserves S- though.
Okay, so I think it's above Boot Hill for sure. It's just a matter of if it goes into S-.
It literally turns her into a DPS.
I'm willing to say that it's S-. Like, that is a very nice boost. The extra weakness break efficiency, for her specifically, you can do so much with that. Especially if you're running in like a Firefly team where you always get the weakness implant.
I don't think you can put it in the same tier as Volpol and Aventurine. I think you have to put it a tier above them.
Okay, yeah, good. We agree then.
Yeah. Now we get to do the next unit. The unit with the only genuine negative eidolons. Like...
Oh, no.
His E2 is literally a nerf.
So, E2! Bestowal from the Pure. When his skill is triggered, if the target ally's HP is lower than 50... Why is it formatted like this? Is lower than 50%.
I think it's just a mistake.
Luocha's outgoing healing increases by 30%. If the target ally's HP is at 50% or higher, the ally receives a shield that can absorb damage. I didn't know this existed.
Dude, you're not supposed to be a shielder. Please
what is that?
Get some help.
What is that?
His whole purpose nowadays is on Cass and My Day teams as a healer.
What?
And the units that want their team to take damage, like, he adds a shield that slows them down. Like, I think this has to go at the bottom of the graveyard, because it literally makes him worse.
I was about to say, there's no argument. I don't care what the E1 does. I don't care what any of his other eidolons do. This literally destroys the character. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm so sorry for all you E6 Luocha users out there.
I'm gonna not talk for the next one because I'm probably biased, and if I speak, I'm in big trouble.
I mean, to be fair, if from what I remember is true.
And I do not want to be in big trouble.
Okay, yeah, so this is what I remember it being. So, E2, Strife Beholds Cry of Dead. Hard name, by the way. During Vendetta, the damage dealt by My Day ignores 15% of enemy target's defense. After he receives healing, converts 40% of the healed amount to charge. Tally of the converted charge cannot exceed 40 points, though. And then E1 is still pretty good. Increases damage multiplier dealt by Godslayer Be God to the primary target by 30%. And this ability now deals to all enemies imaginary damage equal to the damage multiplier dealt to the primary target.
I can literally show this to you after recording.
Oh no, I know you could.
I think it goes in S.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's not an argument here. It's just how high. Because I think it's better than these bottom two without a single shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I think it's middle. I think it's below E2 Fae.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if after Fei Xiao, that was probably gonna have to be an argument. These two, easy choice. No, Mighty clears that. That is a amazing combination.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also very curious.
So anyway, wrap up. All right.
Yeah, this is Okay, this is very underrated, I think. At least the E2 is very underrated, but the E1 is amazing.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna read both of these, actually. These are actually both pretty nice. So, E2. Freeze the mind enlightened by haikus. The enhanced basic attack's first 2 hits have their toughness reduction against the one designated enemy increased by 50%. During the seal form state, entered by using ultimate, damage dealt by Rappa ignores 15% of the target's defense. After exiting the seal form state, regenerate 20 energy. Damn.
It
Nice.
really fixes her rotations.
That's actually
It's
really nice.
really important.
And damage boost,
It's
more utility,
it's really nice.
and improved primary mechanic.
I've been using like PvP as kind of a reference for how my opinions on a lot of eidolons. I am not afraid of an easier Rappa. An E1 Rappa scares the shit out of me.
I was gonna say that should strike fear in the hearts of men.
That's the difference. Yeah, I think it's
I really like that personally.
minus somewhere. I think Boot Hill can stay in A, but I think this can go in S.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I'm
fixes
looking
the
at
rotations so
I'm
much.
looking at Boot Hill as the gatekeeper, and this is better than Boot Hill. So this is going in S- at minimum. Robin. So.
Okay, I think this is the next support. I don't think we even need to discuss this. I think this can go.
Oh
top tier.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, hold on. So let me do both of these real quick. E1. All allies type res pen increases by 24% while the concerto state is active. Broken. E2. While concerto state is active again. Increase your speed by 16. All allies. Also, your talent's energy regeneration effect additionally increases by 1.
For reference, that's normally 2, so it's a 1.5 time. It's effectively giving her 1.5 times energy gain in her ultimate.
We're just
let's just put her up there with the top. I don't think we need to rank the top.
No,
tier,
we're not
'cause
ordering these. It's just
Yeah,
ready.
they're
Broken.
all like ambiguously
Broken.
Yeah,
That's
they're all ambiguously great.
I was gonna say the biggest thing is just like they're all broken. It's just broken for different teams. So it's like broken for like most broken for HP teams, most broken for follow up teams, most broken for break teams. But they're all broken, so it doesn't matter.
I think the biggest thing on Robin is that her E2 makes her really good off of follow up because it really fixes. The main issue with Robin off of follow up is that she runs into some energy issues. The thing is with her E2. You're never running into energy issues off of follow-up attack because you get so much extra energy even if you're not on a follow-up attack team.
What a good character. Man, that character is going to keep holding up for so long. It's insane. All right, Ron May. So E1 is definitely really good. E1, while the ultimate's field is deployed, the damage dealt by all allies ignores 20% of the target's defense.
It's
not bad.
It's good. It's not life-changing. I think it's a lower A.
I feel like this is the same range as Bronya's, because it's like they're kind of.
I think Bronya's is different.
They're kind of in this like they obviously have completely different purposes.
I think I'd rather have an E2 Bronya than have an E2 Rome, though.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, I think the E1 on Ron May is still just a bit more helpful. I feel like
I think it compares
scenario.
about to the same damaging. It's like I think at the same level as the B. Yeah, I don't think I can put it at the level as the A tiers.
I'm trying to
Unless you're talking about break, but I'm not.
Trying to take a look at the other supports
fluent in break.
That's the thing. I'm trying to take a look at the other supports.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, okay, that's the thing is that in the best case scenario, which is break, even then,
the E1 is pretty good in break.
Yeah, the E1's going to be pretty helpful.
Break is stacking up a lot of defense down.
And then the problem is the E2 for break is honestly not going to be helpful.
Bottom of A or like top of B?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I think I like Zhao Cho's a little bit more.
Actually, it's a support eidolon, and it's really universal. I think it could be an A. Zhao Cho's just less a universal support.
Yeah, but also I think I like what his eidolons do a bit more because not only does it increase his Ashen Rose stacks, which is his primary mechanic, but
it doesn't actually increase his Ashen Rose stacks.
Well, no, it doesn't increase his stacks, but it increases the amount you can.
Faster.
Like it increases the amount you can get off of it. So it's like either way, it helps the primary mechanic. But then at the same time, his E2 also essentially morphs him into more of a sub DPS.
Bottom end of there.
We've literally been arguing about this for like 5 minutes. All right,
Yeah,
we're moving on.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
done. We're
let's move
done.
on. Yeah.
Me and editing cut to this part. We're done.
Yeah.
I love how in the last video people are like, it feels like you guys went through these kind of fast, and I'm like, no, I just cut out most of the discussion. Like, nobody,
Yeah.
you don't want to hear us talking about literally the specifics of the game for 5
Actually-
minutes straight to move them 2 spots. You don't want to hear that.
I mean, I think some people will.
Oh.
I think you could release like an unedited version and then do a supercut, which is the edited version.
you know what? That shit's gonna be a member exclusive video. You want it, you gotta buy it. Fuck you. So
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Before we
because
get
I know
stuck
a lot
on
of
that.
times when I'm watching some discussion videos on some channels, I literally just do it because I can't do work without having noise in the background.
No, I
and-
understand that. That is
Yeah,
absolutely
so
fair.
I'll just watch something in the background, not like fully pay attention to it, but just it prevents me from going insane.
That is completely fair.
I think this has been going a lot quicker though, now that we have the format down.
I think we've gotten a bit better. I don't think there's a world where I
Yeah.
don't have to make this 2 videos. It might be like a 40-50 minute video, but that's better than if it would have been a 1 hour 30-minute video. So I'll take
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we're like an hour and a half into recording, but we're also like
Yeah,
75% through
Oh
of
my
them.
god.
Yeah, we're also 75% through the eidolons though, and we have been doing twice as many eidolons, so I think it's fair.
Honestly, yeah. Again, there's a world. All right, so
Yeah.
why
her in
this
D tier,
again?
please. Can we just put her in D tier? I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's sad. It saddens me.
Do you want C or D?
D.
Okay, cool. We're not ordering these. Actually, no. There we go.
Yeah, Luocha is mandatory.
Luocha
last.
has to be
Maybe.
last. You know what? She can go up here with the DPSs.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go,
Yeah.
Zila. All right, moving on from depression. Okay, depression might still be in stock. Hold on.
Okay, no, these are actually.
Are these
pretty good.
actually good? Okay,
Um,
okay.
Okay, so I'll explain
Ooh.
E2. E2 doesn't look great, but enables DPS Wolf.
I was
Or
about
like
to
sub
say.
DPS Wolf.
I was about to say I liked E2 off the bat. I'm like, oh hey, that's nice. That
Also,
means you can invest stats
Also,
differently.
for Acheron teams specifically, it applies a debuff whenever an enemy enters the battle. So that's a stack every time an enemy spawns. So either when
Oh
you're
my
switching waves, it's an
god.
extra stack, or when a boss will, like, for example, summon minions, that's an extra stack as well.
Okay, you know what? That's insane. I would not have thought of that. That is really cool.
Yeah.
And then
And
E1
then,
is also
obviously the E1 is
that's
amazing. It's
really good.
effectively
really nice.
35 energy every time you use your ult, which
Mm-hmm. And then just for reference, it's only a 110 energy ult. So you're basically getting a third of your ult back
you get
just as
one
a free
turn ult.
refund.
You get one turn ults with this. Yeah.
Okay, I actually really like this. I never knew what her eidolons were. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. Those are nice.
Yeah. After energy regen is considered, she gets one turn ults with her E1 without tutorial. So I think this puts her at an A tier level. It really improves her, especially her E1 does. I think it can be an A tier level because it just fixes a lot of her issues.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I'm fine.
And it just
no,
gives
I'm
her a lot more
fine with
utility.
Because it's definitely better
Yeah.
than everything in B. So now it's just a matter of where in A it goes. I think it
goes
I think
towards
it's
the
fairly
bottom.
good.
I don't think it's at the level of either Cypher or Bronya, because Cypher and Bronya are massive.
Okay, yeah,
damage increases.
that's fine. That's
Um,
fine.
Yeah.
But I think I think around Huoho, there's like we can start having.
I
Like,
think
there's
we
a
should move
chance.
Anaxa above Aventurine and Huohuo then. Because I think he can even go up with Boot Hill, because it's quite a noticeable damage increase for him in both his own teams and in
Oh,
Herta
right, that's what
teams.
it was.
Because
Honestly, yeah, I'm
Anaxa,
fine with that.
his IEDs both help him in Herta teams and with his own hypercarry teams. Also, just I like aesthetics of putting him next to Boot Hill. Do you agree?
Okay, you know what? I've moved this so it could be the high cloud quintet. All right, that's fine. You get a deal on that one. I'll compromise on that, just for the aesthetic purposes. All right. Anyway, Silver Wolf. Oh my god.
Yeah. She's like around the same value as the sustain ones. I
want to say it's slightly above Ho-Ho, but it's also, I don't know. In terms of the value given by the eidolons, I do think it can be higher.
Okay, I think it's because if you're talking about value right now, Ho-Ho is probably more because you could slot Ho-Ho into way more teams than you can slot Silver Wolf into, even at E1. So
yeah, but also comparing the value of the eidolons,
it's gonna skyrocket.
Comparing the value of the eidolons as well as that E2 for Ho-Ho just wasn't as helpful.
Yeah. I mean, E2 Silver Wolf isn't that impactful, and it's like...
So it's really just going E1 for E1.
Yeah, and at that point, I think E1 Ho-Ho is way more applicable, because you're not using Silver Wolf in that many applications.
I mean, that's fair. Most people just still use Pela.
Yeah, tutorial exists.
Tragic.
So, yeah. A free light cone is doing very similar things to what her E1 does, so I think you gotta put it below Ho-Ho.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
Let's see, who's up in
this one's gonna be spicy.
I was almost tempted to move it immediately, but okay, let me actually show what Sparkle does before I immediately
Sparkle is one of the craziest units in, like, one of the craziest changes, like, it's just crazy.
So,
I'm gonna be honest.
E2...
I've seen this thing do disgusting things.
Okay, also, just quick notice, the Cypher effect granted by the ultimate lasts for 1 extra turns. That's very nice. E2, though. Every stack of the talent's effect allows allies to additionally ignore 8% of the target's defense when dealing damage.
Yeah.
And this is comboed with the fact that you're also getting a 40% attack increase on top of the normal buffs you get by just using Sparkle.
So, yeah, that's, can you check how many stacks she gets?
Oh, sorry, hold on, let me go back real quick.
Yeah.
Stack up to 3 times.
So it's up to a 24% defense ignore.
Yep.
Yeah, for all your allies. I think it's just amazing, honestly.
It is. That is one of the like that is a great support eidolon. I was gonna say it's one of the best, but it's like they just keep making supports more and more broken.
I don't think it compares to the top.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It compares to the top 3.
They just keep making supports so much more broken. It's getting annoying.
I think it could be I feel like we're really downplaying the E1 Rome at this point, but I'm not sure though. But the Cypher.
I mean, that's the thing. But that's the thing is that it's still already a higher value than that. And when the other eidolon still has more value than that, when like Ronmay's other eidolon is the problem.
Yeah, I think we can put this in S- then, because it's just above Ronmay's at that point. And I think also one thing we can do is maybe move Cypher and Bronya up to S-, just because
Oh, that's a big jump.
Bronya. Vulnerability is very rare in the game, so...
I feel like that's what we were talking about earlier, and we ended up here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
the point underrated it a bit, but...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Alright.
I think we're gonna talk about it in circles, but
people are gonna just be furiously commenting right now. Like, I told you, Cypher was. You know what? Oh my god. I'm fine with.
I think it is hard,
I'm fine with moving them up. As of right now, I'm not sure I want to move them into S-, because I do think Sparkle just has more of an argument above them. And I feel like once we start filling the tier up too much is when it gets a bit like it starts getting downplayed a little bit, and I want to emphasize that I do think the Sparkle one is a very good boost. All right, so Sunday, moving on, Sunday. So
the E2 is like, okay, why did you pull this? Please stop. Get something else, please. He already has enough skill points.
Why does it recover 2 skill points? That's so funny. Okay,
You already
so
have enough.
okay, so E1 is the E1 is
Yeah.
the cool one that you want to focus on. Just moving on.
Yeah.
So when Sunday uses skill, the target character can ignore 16% of enemy target's defense to deal damage, and their summon can ignore 40% of the enemy target's defense to deal damage, lasting for 2 turns. If you have Jing Yuan and you want to invest in Jing Yuan, don't get Jing Yuan's E1, get Sunday's E1.
Yeah. It's also really good for Casterus. Yeah. And also it's just 16% defense down overall, which is like not the most insane thing ever, but the fact that it can flex into being that insane 40% is like...
Yeah, that's once again the problem, where it's like in the ideal team scenario, this is so good, but then in an everybody else scenario, because everyone uses Sunday because he's just another good action advancer, it kind of loses value.
I think it can go next to Sparkles.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm thinking, because they basically provide the same value with his having a slightly higher ceiling, but a lower floor.
I don't want to run in circles. Okay, I was going to mention Bronya.
We're not doing this right now!
I'm going to stop.
It's like the Ron May thing, we've been doing it for too long.
I need to stop it, I need help.
You just like talking about this game so much.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's fair. I made a job out of it. So, the Herda.
Yeah. This will be the absolute, I think, best DPS eidolons in the game at the moment.
I really like what her E2 does, and the E1 is also pretty solid. Because it's just...
The E1 is an insane damage increase.
You're getting just an insane... Yeah, I was about to say, you're just getting an insane increase in your damage.
Yeah, the E1 is like insane damage increase, and the E2 is like insane utility.
Yeah, you know her main mechanic? How about another stack of it? Alright, so, E2. After the Herda enters battle and uses her ultimate, she additionally gains 1 stack of inspiration. After using enhanced skill, the Herda's subsequent action is advanced by 35%. For everybody who does not know, the stack of inspiration is how you get your enhanced skill that does all your fucking damage. And E1, those stacks of interpretation that also increase your damage, well... How about a little more? You just get more out of them, and you don't reset to 0 anymore, which is really nice.
There's some really goofy things you can do with like speed stacking teams. Yeah.
All right, so
it's definitely the best. It's like it's way better than those. Yeah, I think it can sit at the top of S tier because.
Problem is you can't make it into support without being a support.
I don't think it deserves support because she's literally not a support.
Yeah, you can't make it into support without being a support. However, this combo is incredible. That is one of the best early eidolon compilation. Like, I can't think of the word, but combinations. There we go. That is one of the best combinations in the entire game. All right.
Yep.
Topaz and Numby. Their E6 was disappointing. Let's see how their E1 and E2 look. Oh my god,
the E1 is a 25% crit damage. It's a 50% crit damage, effectively.
Oh, I see. So, the Deader State increases the crit damage of follow-up attacks inflicted on the target enemies by 25%, stacking up to 2 times.
And the E2 gives her a lot of extra energy.
After Numby takes action and launches an attack, Topaz regenerates 5 energy. I mean, that's nice.
That also counts anytime she uses her skill, so her skill also generates extra 5 energy. And then Numby attacks after his skill as well, so blah blah blah. It's really good.
I'd say that's nice.
And then her E1 is also just really good damage increase for the follow-up attack teams.
I mean, again, because you're going to be running her with a superior follow-up DPS either way, so increasing their damage even more on top of her normal amount, already good. And then that also means that you can get your ultimate faster.
It also,
which is,
for
again,
ratio teams, it supplies your extra debuffs that you need for ratio.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
I think it's a A tier, around like Silver Wolf level.
I'm like, okay, I can't keep doing this anymore. This is now a group. Everybody behind a Nexa is a group now. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Rambe's the last. That's the only thing that matters. Everybody else, have fun.
I think she's at the same level as them, to be honest. But yeah.
I'm like,
only because she doesn't have an E2. I think that's the main thing holding her back.
Literally, it just sucks.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, okay, the E1 on this next one is pretty good. Where is she? E1. While the zone lasts and after allied targets attack enemies, additionally deals true damage equal to 24% of the total damage of this attack to targets that have been dealt additional damage by the zone. And then E2. Mostly because I've never actually read the E2 because I know E1 is goated.
I can't keep getting away
The
with
additional
this.
damage dealt by the zone increases to 120% of the original damage. Alright, that's bullshit. When the zone deals additional damage, further deals 1 instance of additional damage.
So I mentioned that person who has an E2 trivia.
I hate
I watched
this
a
game.
Pela basic. I watched a Pela basic attack with no crit stats built deal 50k in an MOC where there's no buff to increase Trivy's actual like damage. That was outside of the MOC buff that helped her damage, by the way. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, you're right. They can't keep getting away with this. That actually is insane.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. Alright, enjoy support tier, Trivy.
Okay.
Well done, well done.
We have 2 left.
Alright,
Welt
so
and
next
Yunli.
up is...
Actually, no, we have 3 left. We have Welt. Wait, we got Welt first.
Yeah, alright, so Welt. So,
okay.
another energy regen on the E2, which is nice, so just
Yeah,
like...
the E2 really helps, because the only time you're actually using him nowadays is as, with Acheron as a sustain.
Welt sustain, baby! And then E1 just increases his damage dealing capabilities. You get enhanced basic attack or skill that does a decent bit more damage, but the main thing
If
you're
you
going to be
really
looking
are
at
dead
is
set
E2.
on running DPS well, the E1 isn't bad. Yeah.
The E1 is basically required. Okay, honestly, if you want to run DPS well, I would say E6 is required. I'm gonna be honest,
Fair enough.
but
Yeah, it really is.
but E2 is still pretty nice as well, especially if you're gonna be using him as that sustain option. So it's again, these aren't incredible, but like they have utility at least. Where is he? There he is.
I think it's better than the C tiers.
C.
I think it can
It's
go into
above
B
C.
tiers.
I'm gonna
I think
put
it's
him
gonna hit the
right
bottom of
next
B.
to Clara. Just there we go.
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go, little buddy. Because, yeah, both of them are just, again, I don't really think they're touching
standard,
the ones above.
so...
Yeah, it's better value than some of the other ones, at least. Okay, you don't have to say anything about this one. I'm just gonna get it over with. All right, so when Soul Steel Sync is active, energy regen increases by 10. We're not reading the first one. It's not even worth discussing. All right. So anyway, Yanqing, where you at, little buddy?
If I
there we
speak,
go.
I'm in big trouble.
Cool.
I don't want to be in big trouble.
There we go. All right. Cool.
No explanation.
There you go, little buddy. All right. One more. Yunli.
Yeah. Okay. Yunli. Okay. This is a pretty good one.
She's
honestly.
been consistently not disappointing, so I hope that it continues.
Yeah. The E2 is really nice. 20% defense down. Just pretty solid. And then
That's
the
nice.
E1
like
is basically mandatory if you want to make her do crazy stuff.
Increases the number of additional damage instances for Intuit Call by Ooh!
If you check, I believe the normal
nice.
number is 6.
Intuit Call... Yep. Deals 6 instances of damage.
Yeah, so it
So that brings it up to 9.
Yeah, this is the eidolon where she starts doing insane amounts of damage. It's the E1.
And then this is 9 instances of 72% of Yunli's attack.
Yeah.
I actually quite like this combination. This is pretty nice.
I feel like to be viable nowadays, she requires the E1, but that's just because the E1 is so good.
That E1 is very... I really like that, actually. I'm very impressed. So now where does that land her?
At a boot hill or an exit tier.
Because, yeah, that's the thing. Last time, I was definitely really impressed with Yunli that I pushed her into the higher tier. I don't think it's as good as last time. I think A is good. I think... I was going to put it right in between to split up the boys, but it's fine. I'll just put her there. The boys and Yunli. Yeah. What a team. And there we go. Yeah. That is every premium 5-star currently available in Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah.
The graveyard tier is so depressing. I never knew that Luocha's E2 actually just made him a worse character. Why? What is the point? Why would you ever want a shield on a unit that heals?
As if you didn't sustain well enough already.
His whole job! You know what?
Actually, the amount of times I've seen people die with Luocha is actually quite surprising. Disappear into the sea of butterflies.
So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this list today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
I was gonna say, I appreciate you coming back on. This was a lot of fun. And then
I've accepted my I've accepted Bronya and Cyber's tier.
I'm so sorry.
I
We
know.
could not keep going
No,
on with that one.
I thought about it again, and it's fair. It's fair. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear. But I was about to say,
Yeah.
from the last 2 videos, it seems like people have really enjoyed your presence on the channel because you're
thank
better
you for having
educated
me.
than me. So hey, I'm really glad to have you back on.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So let me end the video.